Alrighty, so welcome to our Zoom call. And this is for the Mind Body Womb Detox. To change your life, we need to change our habits. So, welcome everyone, and just going to go over who I am and what I do. My name is Allie, and I have been a detox consultant for the last 16 years. I am a fourth generation healer, but it's not something that I picked. It's something that picked me. I spent time in corporate Canada, and when I left corporate Canada, I retired early because doing my holistic living, I, through meditation one day, got the call that it was time to retire and open up a holistic living business. I'd grown up doing detoxing and cleansing and drinking castor oil and herbs and different things like that, and had done that in my adult life. And when I saw that we were living in a world where you could actually do those things and make a living, I got my accreditation and began going to schools to get my training in order to do it legally in North America. Because no matter what generational training you've got, you still need legal documentation stating that you know what you're talking about. And that's very important. There are a lot of people who, unfortunately, don't have proper training, and it's starting to show. That's why you've got the governments that are coming in and, making sure and shutting people down, making sure that their businesses are legitimate, making sure that they themselves have had their proper training, because a lot of people have not grown up as healers or with this particular lifestyle and can make mistakes trying to get healthy and do things the way that they should. So I really respect continuing education and doing things the way that it should be done, because it shows that you're up to date in your training. It shows that you have enough respect for your clients that you are getting your training done. And it shows that you are still passionate about what you're doing. So where I am right now is I'm working with a lot of people doing holistic womb work. And I started out doing this womb work because it's part of my journey. And I found that it's not just for women alone. Men come from a womb, and we have a lot of toxicity that is passed down generationally. And we found recently, science has found that this is something that affects how we see the world, how we show up in the world, and how we process where we are in the world. So what I wanted to do was start a group that would detoxify our mind, our bodies, our wombs, and really make sure that not only is it just for women, but men as well, because we want to tap in on the generational toxicities. So at this point right now, I'm just going to let you know what the tools are for this detox. And one of the first things that people have to do is asking for help, or admitting when you just don't have the energy to do another step in your transformation or in your detox program that you're working on in life. Because there are going to be days where you're going to be happy doing your detox, and there are going to be days where you're just going to look at it and say, I just don't feel like doing it anymore. And essentially, that's when you need to have your backup plan. And your backup plan is basically going to let you know, I can take a day off, but I really need to make sure that if I do use this day off, I'm going to make sure that I'm back on the horse and I'm ready to go the next day. make sure that you've got your steps of how you're going to get through the detox. It's nice to say that you are doing a detox, but if you don't have the steps that you're going to use when trouble comes, you'll end up sliding off the detox, and yet again, something else will go by the wayside. So in order to keep yourself in a space of how am I going to process, it's good to declare what your intention is. State what it is that you want to do. State what it is that you're going to do in such a way that you're not going to drop off. And if you do fall off, you've got something to fall back on to keep yourself on track. So the way that this is going to work is with this mind, body, womb detox, we use self-observation. And this is the time that you spend looking at how your body processes the behavior you want to change. We're going to set realistic goals. And this is looking at the intentions and saying, am I biting off too much? We're going to use affirmations because we need to support ourselves and the people that are in the group, and how we make the changes and the changes that we want to make. So the first thing that we were talking about is we were talking about the endless binging and restricting cycle that we've all fallen into. And we will end up binging on certain foods and then restricting ourselves, almost punishing ourselves and saying, I need to stop eating this, or I'm not doing that. That's toxic in itself and causes stress. So what we're essentially doing is making sure that we have backup plans. So let's look at what happens emotionally when we go through this binge and restrict cycle. We start to feel guilty or remorse or fear of weight gain or fear of going back to an old pattern when we go on the binge and restrict cycle. It works for a little while, but it doesn't work in the long term. So we're emotionally feeling stagnant with feelings of guilt. And then we've got the crazy actions of, I need to get in control by dieting or restrict myself or stopping a certain habit, but that's not a healthy space to be in. Then we go ahead, although we know it's not a healthy space to be in, and we go ahead and we restrict ourselves. And then we end up at a certain event only to start the binging cycle again. And we think by restricting ourselves that we're feeling good, that we're doing the right thing, but deep down we have anxiety. And then we end up through the binging and overeating. And thus is affecting our physical, emotional self, and how we think we are failing or not failing. Normally, we would go ahead and do a task, but when we find out this is something that has not worked, then comes the psychological downfall, the depression, and where we tell ourselves, oh, I'm already off the horse, forget it. The way that this works is even if you have fallen off the horse, you've got something that's going to keep you going. And that's going to be the tools of anchoring yourself. The simple tools that we've got here is drinking our water. Water is one of the things that you can drink or you can actually do that's not going to be too demanding. Now, some people, they find, yes, it is demanding. It's in the middle of winter, many places around the world right now. And some people just say, I don't feel like drinking water in the middle of winter. But when you have your reason why you want to make this transformation, then you understand, you know what, it's important, even that I force myself on some days. And a simple thing of drinking water will keep you in the game. One of the things that I do is I have my water beside me all throughout the day. And I'm looking at it some days knowing that I have to drink it. And sure enough, I'm not always drinking as much as I should be. So I examine that behavior. that's mostly what this detox is about, is to examine your behavior, see what you're asking yourself to do, and see how you comply. And I examine my behavior, and before you know it, I might not be drinking as much as I wanted that day, but somewhere upon reflection, I go ahead and I start drinking. So essentially, we want to be able to examine our behavior and to have that short little conversation with ourselves, only to find out why, or to get to the answer why we're not doing a certain behavior, or why we have that being stuck. That being stuck is one of the worst things that we can have, but it does affect us. It does stop us from moving forward, and it can shut your whole thing down and derail you. So one of the things that I do is, when I'm having that conversation with myself about my water, is I ask myself, when was the last time I took a sip? What are the benefits of me drinking this water? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? You're not asking yourself a whole litany of questions, just some quick little questions that will get you to respond, because we are not dealing with our conscious self when we don't do what we intend to do. We're dealing with our subconscious. And if we're not doing it right, we end up shutting ourselves down. So what you want to do is make sure that you can support yourself through asking and answering these questions. And one of the best ways is just to go ahead and ask the questions, but don't beat yourself up if you feel that you haven't got what you think should be the right answer. There are times that I go through the question process and I still don't take a sip of water, but I gently just observe it. And I look at my behavior and I move on. And then throughout the day, about an hour or so later, I find, oh, I need to take a sip of water. We ebb and we flow as we are trying to change behavior. This is not about shaming or blaming or guilting yourself. It's about observing yourself. There's so much programming that we are involved in. If it's not programming on television, on the internet, on Facebook, on all these Instagram, all these different places, we're receiving messages and we don't know sometimes the extent of seeing those messages. But when you observe yourself, if you feel that you're stuck and you can't give yourself an answer or you can't move forward, just be gentle with yourself. At least support yourself. So the next thing that we're looking at is, again, something simple. Find yourself an activity that is going to move your body. And the one that we've got up on the site is the core exercises. Now, why are you asking, possibly, why are we sticking with core exercises? Because our core is our foundation. Our abs hold up our back muscles and our ab muscles when they are in shape. So it's very gentle, it's very simple, and it literally has you start out with 20 seconds on the first day. So what you do is you get into the plank position, and you'll see it on the Facebook page. If you cannot get down into the plank position because you have back issues, or for one reason or another you're not mobile enough to get up and down on the floor, it's okay to go ahead and switch this challenge into the broomstick challenge. And that basically is getting a broomstick and going side to side, doing the twisting motion side to side. The objective is just to be able to do it according to the days that we've got on the challenge, and to do it the length of time. Because the biggest thing with this particular challenge is taking your time, doing it step by step, and supporting yourself along each of those steps. So the first day of the broomstick or plank challenge is 20 seconds. The second day, 20 seconds. The third day, 30 seconds. The fourth day, 40 seconds. The fifth day, 40 seconds again. And on the sixth day, rest. That doesn't sound too difficult. If for any reason, as I said, you can't get on the floor or you're standing up, just make sure that you're moving. Make sure that you take time out, even if you don't do the activity. Take a break in your day and sit there or stand there for 20, 30, whatever seconds, and get yourself going that way. And then the next week, start doing the action itself. Taking care of ourselves is about making sure that we stop the chaos of the hamster wheel and make sure that we take a few moments to just reflect or take a few moments for ourselves. Our world is moving so fast, and we are not doing ourselves any good if we intend to keep pace with our world unless we are making time for ourselves. So you can go ahead and go on the Facebook page and you will see the schedule of what we are working on for that motion or movement challenge. And you can go ahead and follow that. And if you have any questions, go ahead and write that down and we'll get that looked after. The other thing that we're doing is we're looking at our emotional well-being. And one of the things that works really well, and I've got this as well on the Facebook page, is doing a detox bath. And the thing with detox bathing is that it gives you an opportunity just to sit, take time, reflect. It's nice if you do a gentle detox bath. Some people put music on. And the simple steps that we're going to cover here is really just looking at how to take a detox bath. And the simple thing you want to do is set your intentions. Now you can do a little stretching, a little deep breathing before you get into the bath, just preparing yourself, bringing yourself to an awareness that this is what you're doing now. It's not just another subconscious activity that you're rushing through for the day. You're stopping and taking time for self-care. So basically, what you're doing is taking a shower. Yes, take a shower before you get into the bath. And just rinsing off your body, making sure that, again, you are in the moment of what you need to do for this bit of self-care. You've got your oils, you've got your sea salt, you've got all the things that are necessary. And after you have a quick shower, then you hop into the bath that you've drawn. You can sit down and either make notes, or you can just sit there and just do some gentle thinking and allow yourself to let your mind wander, but don't let your mind wander into things that are toxic thoughts. If you find that any type of toxic thoughts are coming through, just gently say to yourself, I cut those cords, or I release those, and we've gone through how to do those on the site. Self-care and doing a mind-body-womb detox is about allowing yourself to examine the thoughts that come up but not reacting to them. It's about allowing yourself the space to breathe, allowing yourself the space to slow down and even have a day off. It's about recreating what you do, how you do it, and what you intend to do as you move forward. And that's where the word womb comes in. The womb is a space where we are making changes, where we are growing from, where we are recreating and creating. And essentially what you want to do is bringing forth who you are in this world and who you imagine you are but doing so with ease, doing so without any type of forcing yourself. And that brings me back to a conversation I was having with a client of mine just before I came on the call. Why are people rushing to do transformations? Why are they thinking that they can transform their lives and the way that they do things in a matter of weeks? It takes years. I'm not saying that you're not going to see results before those years are up, but have the mindset to do things one step at a time with a plan and supporting yourself or getting yourself into a group that's going to support you or that you can support others, feeling that there's a community, feeling that there is a way that you're going to get to the end of the road this time, and you're not going to go with grandiose ideas and fall flat if you don't reach the lofty goals that you've set. So thank you very much for spending time with me today and us going through just basically what the Mind Body Womb Detox is about. It is about self-responsibility. It is about making change, but it's also about making those changes and taking self-responsibility very gently, but not taking them gently so that you slide off and that you don't sustain yourself. There is a happy medium, and that's what the Mind Body Womb Detox is all about. Responsibility, but making sure that you are taking time to do the things that you say you want to do. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the next call, and take care, enjoy, and we'll see you soon for your mind, your body, your womb, your detox.